Welcome, Earthlings! From the minds of Dylan Oltoft and Rob McNabb, we bring you Laughing on a Prayer!
It's not about money. It's about recording a podcast.
Podcasters? Who told you we were podcasters?
They called me a madman.
Long live the podcasters.
Oh, well, you see, I followed the science, and I think that we need to extend lockdown to, Oh, wait, no, that's a real person.
It's just a fact, it's just as a podcast!
Yeah!
Take a shot. Got a bit too real towards the end there.
Yeah, I mean, we're real people.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Laughing on a Prayer. For any newcomers, I am Dylan Oltoft, and
I am inevitable. Sorry, I'm Rob.
That'd almost be a cool name. Imagine meeting someone and they said, "Hello, I'm Josh," or "I'm Jones," or "I'm Jack." Like, "Hello, I'm inevitable."
They were like, your parents.
Holy shit! That's like how an anime person introduces themselves as like
I'm
floating.
inevitable.
I am inevitable.
It's like in The Boys, how they all have like their own names, like having a superhero called Inevitable.
But imagine if he had a really shitty last name, like such a cool first name, and then I am inevitable Smith. Just like a really generic, unimpressive last name. The Smiths, Jack Smith, Judy Smith, Inevitable Smith.
That would be a really that would actually be quite scary. So if someone called Inevitable, it means that whatever happens is going to happen.
Oh, Inevitable Smith. That almost sounds like the name of like a nickname for Hephaestus. The Inevitable Smith.
Oh man, that's cool.
Anyway, yes, we're Dylan Oltoft and Rob McNabb, and we are bringing our next episode of Laughing on a Prayer. Today we are going to be celebrating what makes all great fiction and sadly non-fiction very alive in our minds, and that is the most grotesque shadows of humanity's requisitions, and that is villains.
Oh yeah, villains, the baddies. The bad guys, the detestables, the people that get in the way of the good people. An antagonist, which by definition is the person or character within a story that puts the most obstacles in front of the protagonist.
Absolutely correct.
I learnt something at university.
Do you remember the term for protagonist?
No, because protagonists for the most part are kind of boring, but we are going to get onto that in a little while.
Hey Rob, when you were going through movies, would you say you tend to latch on to villains more than the hero?
Yes.
Do you have a prime example of say within 5 minutes you're like, I'm for that guy? Because I recall after Infinity War the amount of people that actually were siding with Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos would not be one of them. Thanos would not be one of them.
You don't love that curved, chiseled jawline?
I don't know. I think there are better villains out there. I think the first villain that I ever really latched onto was Rasputin from Anastasia.
I immediately thought you'd say the Joker or something.
No, it's Rasputin from the first villain I ever latched
Is that because
onto.
of In the Dark of the Night?
Yeah, and also he was even though it's animated and it's pretty old, but he was actually the first bad guy that scared me a bit. I've seen Lion King and stuff like that, but Anastasia, Rasputin in that film was the first villain that I actually felt scared when I was on screen, and so I've latched onto him.
Ah, interesting. So he sort of thrilled you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And weirdly enough, that's sort of what got me down my path of the love of horror, because I was like, I actually kind of like being scared. I don't know if that's weird or not.
No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I had to say what my first villain that I liked was maybe the hunter from Bambi or something. He didn't miss. You got to appreciate a sharpshooter.
Yeah, he also managed to do it when she was jumping through the air, which fucked me, man.
Also, unlike the Lion King,
shot.
there was no body, which says to me this is a hunter that actually used the kill. So he's not like a trophy hunter or anything. This is someone, that actually probably made Bambi's mum into some nice chops or a stew.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that called? A preservation hunter? Like someone that eats what they kill, yeah.
Oh, and
Well, you get some dick hunters that just shoot for the fun of it.
Yeah, just shoot for the sake of shooting.
Sociopaths, basically.
Shit, yeah.
I must reap upon this earth.
Yeah, I'm just going to go shoot. But, with that being said, sorry, I was just thinking, I just got it, everyone knows the quote unquote the shot of Bambi's mum flying through the air and getting shot. Hell of a shot.
Sometimes you got to take a leap of faith.
Yeah, exactly. But not all the times will it work. But I feel that my taste in villains started from like a kind of a early kind of age. I'm attracted to the kind of villains that are, funnily enough, I know there's like a trend now where like there are villains, but the villain's got a point, and people think that the villain needs to have a point. I'm kind of in that boat of like, I just like people to be kind of evil sometimes.
I feel it's not necessarily villains that have a point, although that does exist. I think people have latched onto villains that aren't all the way evil.
Yeah.
Like again, Thanos, as we talked about, he had some good in him. Like he had principles he stuck to. You saw he loved Gamora in it. What he was doing was paining him, and people like Loki who aren't all the way evil. But I guess people like that, having that little bit of redeemability about them. But me, I love all out and out villains, like, because there's a framing device that's known. Everyone's the hero in their own story, and a villain doesn't wake up. A Bond villain thought he was doing the right thing. Like a Bond villain is the hero in his thing, but he's all the way fucking evil. And I can appreciate that full commitment.
I mean, going back to, I'm going to take another shot in preparation, but Hitler didn't think he was a bad guy.
Oh no. Take a shot.
He actually thought he was the best, actually. He thought he was better than everyone. That's true, but I like villains like...
And he was so charismatic, he managed to, get an entire army with only one nut and a third of a mustache.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like... It's quite interesting to see how some, like, real-life villains, and obviously people draw from reality. I mean... let's just get it out of the way. Like, Voldemort and Hitler, like, they're basically the same person.
Oh, yeah.
Only that Voldemort doesn't have a moustache or a nose.
It could be even weirder if he had a mustache with no nose.
It would be weird.
Would that even count as a mustache? Is it the fact that it's under the nose that makes it, or on the lip?
I don't know.
Huh.
I mean, the thing is, it's either one or the other. It's always going to be, if you don't have a nose, then it's always on the lip.
It's kind of weird how in Harry Potter, Voldemort wasn't even the most favourite villain of that thing. He was just sort of like store brand villain sort of thing.
Yeah.
The more people preferred like Bellatrix.
Bellatrix is strange.
Oh.
Great villain.
People even hated Umbridge even more than Voldemort.
Oh yeah. I mean, Imelda Staunton.
Some snooty rules Hitler worse than racist Hitler.
I mean, here's the interesting little bit of trivia. Imelda Staunton, who played Umbridge, played what's the baker in Sweeney Todd, the bakery woman's name?
What, Mrs. Lovett?
Yeah, Mrs. Lovett. She plays Mrs. Lovett on stage, and Helena Bonham Carter plays Mrs. Lovett in the film. So 2 Harry Potter villains that have played Mrs. Lovett, which is kind of cool.
That's a very interesting film fact.
Yeah, really weird, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, again, with Bellatrix, she was just all balls to the wall evil. Well, sorry, tits to the ceiling evil.
She was, yeah.
And again, people loved that. She didn't just... Yeah, I guess, again, with villains that just don't give a fuck. I'm evil, bro.
Yeah, she's there for fun. Or at least, she's unhinged and, completely nuts, which I think is, that's a good thing. I mean, you see that, in the Joker and in also, god damn it, the fucking, Silence of the Lambs.
What, Hannibal Lecter?
No, Buffalo Bill.
Oh, right.
Fuck, did I not?
You quote him more than I do.
Yeah, I know. Whoops the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again. Sorry. But it's like you have these, I think villains that are just completely, you can't reason with them, whatever, and they're just completely nuts. I like that because I like putting myself sort of in situations like that. Like when I'm watching a horror movie or something, I'm like, what would I do? I'm like, mate, if I was in that situation, I'd be fucked. Like, there's no getting out of this.
I'm not sure I like a villain that's actually insane, because again, by how society shittily works, if you're insane, you're technically not accountable for your actions. Let's not go into that. I prefer a villain that does insane things, but is absolutely fully lucid and conscious of their decisions. Like, Bellatrix was absolutely insane. It's hard to tell whether or not the wheels were turning in her head. Again, with Buffalo Bill, like...
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get the feeling that they're really into what they're doing. And I prefer a villain that's just absolute... Again, like Sweeney Todd, he acted like a motherfucking villain, and he was absolutely 2020 on point every second.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
I think with like Bellatrix as well is that, I mean, she knows what... I mean, she fully believes in, you know, like pure bloods should not mix with mudblood and stuff like that.
Do you think? I think it's just Voldemort enables her being crazy. Like, she's just happy to be a part of the team that lets her murder.
Exactly, but that's the thing. It's like, it must have been fucking Christmas Day for her when she found out, oh wait, there's a group of people that I can go and abuse and kill, but it's okay because this guy says it's okay. She must have been like, oh yeah, I'll definitely go and do, like, you know, Fox in charge of the hen coop type thing.
Give it a few years and Disney will probably get the rights and give Bellatrix her own like Cruella and Maleficent story, where she was the tragic victim all along, ruining her.
I mean, Pottermore would fucking just burn down Disney, I imagine.
Oh, Disney will buy it eventually. Who owns Harry Potter? Warner Brothers, is it?
Yeah, and I think they... Does Disney own Warner Brothers now? No, they don't.
If you're watching this in the future and you've just finished your shift out of the Disney mines, take a little chuckle at our innocence of wondering if Disney owned everything.
The only thing I know about Warner Brothers is they still employed Amber Heard, so yeah, fuck you guys. Sorry to get political there. Oh no, wait, just sorry to get, you know...
Yeah, there's a real life villain.
Normal there.
But in terms of, let's move away from Potter for a second. Let's go with some franchise-related heroes. Let's go for like a movie by itself and the villain in that.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's right off the bat. Let's go with a bit. Let's go a bit generic. We're going to go back to the 80s here. Let's talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger in the first Terminator. Clearly the villain. I mean, obviously he's an emotionless killing machine robot. Why do people latch onto him so much then?
I think it's charisma. Now, hear me out.
Okay.
Charisma is not the first thing you think about. And charisma is actually the wrong word. Presence is what I...
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, there it is.
It's presence.
Very intimidating figure, yes.
Yeah, I think having presence as a villain is one of those... something that you really need to have. Because I feel that there are some villains that you have like the weedy little villain. So like, for instance...
Like a worm tongue.
Yeah.
Grima worm tongue from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And... you know, Jesse Eisen, Lex Luthor in, you know, the man of, in Batman vs. Superman, little nerdy. That's one villain. But then you have the ones that are, I like to think, like the really, you know, literally sort of like big ones. And like also the way that...
So the power hungry and the ones with power.
Yeah, like physical sort of prowess. Like he is, like the Terminator, the first one, he is like a... Like, he walks, like, slowly everywhere. Like, he doesn't have anywhere else to be, which is, like, it's like, he's not hurrying about. He's not worried. He knows that he can just fuck shit up. Yeah,
like Tom Hardy's Bane.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
When he's fighting with Batman and he's getting knocked around and he's just slowly making his way towards him.
Yeah, exactly. I think, like, when you show that you do not care about the possible threats around you, like, that's a good presence.
But to be fair, he's not able to care. Yeah. It's not like he's being cool as a cucumber because he knows he can kill everything. I think he's like handicapped as, again, an emotionless robot.
But I think though, if his robot like mind thought he was actually under threat, then he would change up his things because they're like smart robots, aren't they?
Well, I think that's why the first Terminator is seen more as a horror film and the sequel is more of an action film, because the you could say the theme behind the first one is that he's just an unstoppable boogeyman.
Same as Alien as well. First Alien was a horror, second one was an action one.
But with the Terminator, the first one, doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, doesn't drink, and will never stop. It's like the movie It Follows. It's just this...
I think you just quoted The Mummy, though.
What?
He will never eat, he will never sleep, he will never stop. That's from The Mummy.
That was unintentional. Although we'll talk about Imhotep in a minute and his fucking stupidity. But yeah, it's just this unrelenting boogeyman, and that's what made it a really good thing. Like, again, they'd be wrestling in a hotel and they just hear a dog bark. It's like, is that him there? Has he found us? Holy shit. He won't stop again. But when he's a fucking skeleton, only half his body, still clawing his way towards you, like, will not stop.
It's like that horror movie, It Follows.
Yeah.
You know, where it's always after you. And, like, you can run away, but eventually it's going to come up. And then it has that sense of menace. I like to think, like...
I wonder if you could time that perfectly. Like, if you were in a football stadium and you saw it coming towards you, if you had a stopwatch, so you could gauge exactly how long it took to get a certain distance, fly across to another country or something, have a bit of a time, just keep an eye on the time and all that, set an alarm and...
Yeah, and then fly back to Britain and say, sorry, lads, it's not coming home. Oh.
If you're rewatching this in 4 years, that's still relevant.
Yeah. Still relevant.
Could you think if you use the It Follow curse right, you could be like a sex assassin? Say you put yourself as an assassin.
That's kind of what it is, though, isn't it?
So that's the thing. It's sort of like The Ring, of the curse there. And say you're given a target, so all you do is put the videotape on in the target's house. They watch it. They die 7 days later. You get paid. Same with the It thing. You're given a target. You have sex with that target, and you don't tell them about the It demon. It demon kills it. You get paid.
Yeah, but then it comes back after you.
And you'll get your next target. Yeah, sex assassin.
Yeah, but I won't.
You know, you make enough money so that you can go to space and then it can't follow you.
I think it can, though.
Roll credits.
I think it can, though.
Imagine that. I'm walking across Mars in a spacesuit and just in the red distance.
Like, oh, hello, Elon Musk.
And now I've got to have sex with Elon Musk just to get by enough time to get off Mars and back to Earth.
Yeah, but then once again, Elon Musk has sex with Amber Heard, so don't fucking do that. Disgusting.
I'm sensing an agenda with you here.
It's not an agenda, it's a fact.
But you're going back onto villains of the past. I think everyone was happy hating villains, and I dislike this new trend where villains have to be...
Yes.
This is going to sound really fucking weird, but I don't like how better written...
Trust me, it's not the weirdest thing you've said.
Oh, it won't top Sex Assassin, but bear with me.
No, I mean in general, it's not the weirdest thing you said. I'm prepared.
But I dislike how much better written villains are now. You said this to me when you sent me a video and related it to me when you were first reading my book, is like, tragedy does not make a character interesting. And they're adding all this motivation and all of this humanity to villains in modern day movies. And I think that just really sucks the fun out of hating. Like, who was that character you said you love to hate them? Like Joffrey or Ramsay.
Yeah, I was going to go on to that. Joffrey, Ramsay...
They were great villains. Everyone loved them. We didn't need to care that Ramsay was upset about being a bastard. Yeah. He didn't make it his fucking identity.
Because I like villains also that you love to hate. Like I love watching like a bad guy on screen and just going, oh, I hate this guy. I like that.
Like I said earlier, like with a Bond villain, someone that's just fucking having the time of their lives, being a mastermind of evil.
Yeah, and I'm just like. And like with those ones, I was like, yeah, they're fun, but there are some ones that just like Joffrey. I mean, everyone knows Joffrey. Like Joffrey just gets under your skin, doesn't he? And you're just like, oh, I hate this guy. He's just the worst. But I like that. I love to hate villains.
I think I would actually have more fun watching Dick Dastardly and Muttley than I would Kylo Ren fucking struggling to kill his father, because at least Dick Dastardly and Muttley are committed on their path. They're gonna sabotage the race and try and win, but Kylo Ren is, oh, I have to do this. I'm so complex. Oh, shut up, you fucking windler.
I think what's also there are things as well. I think we'll go back to the Dark Knight. Is that everyone, testament to Heath Ledger's performance and everyone. But the thing is, like, what was that, 2008? Yeah, it was 2008. I first saw that film.
How do you remember that? Did it come out in 2008?
Yeah, 2008.
Fuck me.
Or I was in year 8.
It
was whatever. I watched that film, and Heath Ledger's he's not in it as much. Because he's the villain, but he's not like...
It's like you said earlier, presence.
Yeah, exactly. But he's got this menace to him where he's even not on screen. So, there's that scene where the guy gets hanged from the building and just smashes against the window.
Didn't you tell me the fact about Michael Caine that the first time he saw him was in the elevator?
Yeah, and just forgot his lines because he was so... Yeah. But the thing I think about that going back to the Dark Knight, is that once again, presence with, whenever Heath Ledger's in the thing, he's present. But the thing is that I actually liked watching him more, and you're supposed to like Batman, right? But, with Heath Ledger, it's do you know what? I kind of want this guy to kind of win. I don't really care that much about Batman, actually. Now I'm seeing this stuff. I'm more interested. I watched the Batman scenes to get to the Heath Ledger scenes.
And
in
you
the Dark
didn't really
Knight.
get that feel with Ra's al Ghul or Bane in the opposing movies, did you? I mean, Ra's al Ghul, obviously, fucking Liam Neeson is an incredibly amazing actor, and you definitely liked it, but you weren't like, yeah, Ra's al Ghul, gas Gotham. And you weren't like with Bane saying, yeah, Bane, be a simp. That was the worst reveal ever. Bane, simp of Gotham.
Yeah, but it's like, and again, one of the things I said, about like sort of unpredictability is like, like the two boats thing, like that, like whole thing is like really smart, but it's like sort of the reasons for he does it. It's nothing. It's not like Thanos where it's like, I need to bring balance to the universe or something like that. It's like in his own little world that he's like doing it. And it's like, none of these people actually deserve any of the stuff that he's doing, but he's just chosen to do it, which I think makes him even more kind of sort of scary.
Realistically, in that movie, how quickly do you think America would have actually just brought in like the National Guard or the army into Gotham? By the death of the mayor? Like, that's quite a high seat of, like, political office. Like, at what point are they bringing in, like, the fucking army to deal with the Joker, who is absolutely a domestic terrorist?
Yeah, I mean, they brought in the National Guard in Dark Knight Rises, though, didn't they?
Did they?
Oh, no, it was Dark Knight. They blocked off all the shit. There was loads of soldiers in Dark Knight, I swear, at the end. Because they were like, we're blocking off all the bridges and stuff.
No, that was Dark Knight Rises, because Bane said he'd set off the nuke if anyone used the bridges to try and escape Gotham. So they had charges set around the bridges and they were stopping people from crossing there.
It was Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, but I'm just like with the Joker, like, how long before, like, because there's been terrorist situations in, oh, no shit, Dylan, and they sent in, like, all hands on deck, like the Boston bombings and, again, 9/11 and all that, or anything else. Like, any whiff, they send in the cavalry, but the Joker's rampaging for, what, a week? Like, hey, should we, like, send someone more than the SWAT team and the Bat guy?
And the Bat guy. Batman, Dylan, come on.
Well,
I hear you're a mediocre fan of this character.
What's the governor of Gotham who's like, the state Gotham's in is going to be like, maybe we should do something about this clown.
Yeah, but I think that's what I like about like the menace of the fact that he seems to be able to just kind of, in his own words, do things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And like, I think that's what sort of makes him scary, is that you don't. It's like there's the sort of the thing of like no one is safe, like at all.
But you mentioned earlier,
which I think is what's cool, because I think if we have a villain that just like when they turn up, oh, you're in danger, then they go away, and then oh, you're not in danger. I think having this overarching sort of thing, like you don't know what he's next gonna kind of do. It's like, how the fuck did he put a bomb in like?
Well, there are a lot of underground shady surgeons.
Exactly, and he managed to like do all this stuff and then film it, and it's just he definitely, like a terrorist, he installs terror in the people.
Well, a lot of people have picked apart how insane the Joker's plan is. Like, there's no way you could have known when they would have interrogated him, when exactly to have set the bomb off, and all these little things. For all they knew, he could have been in a holding cell, or the FBI could have picked him up, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible to plan to that point, but then it makes a shit movie. But
I can suspend my disbelief, though.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
It's not like too big of a plot hole that I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah. But I think what also helps, and I think it's another reason people like Loki and the Joker are similar, fucking bear with me, Loki and the Joker are similar because they're villains, but they're also vulnerable.
Did you call him Loki and the Jokey?
Did I? Disney, season 2 of Loki. Make it happen. You can have a little jingle. Well, Loki and the Jokey. Whoa. Or something like that. Anyway, forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, they're both vulnerable as well while doing their evil shit. For example, Loki in like Avengers, he catches like Hawkeye's arrow. He's smug for a moment, it explodes and he falls down. He like yells at the Hulk and gets smacked into the ground. The Joker, there are actual moments when he's not perfect and all that sort of thing. Like all the gangsters go up to tackle him and he has to like have a grenade sort of belt ready. When the truck he's driving crashes, he stumbles out of the car and actually catches his bearings. So
he is a person, isn't he?
So while these people are, like you said, ultimately capable, they're not invulnerable, and they are subject to the realities of their humanity.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like Joker and Batman. They're not superheroes. They're normal people, or they're not normal people, but they're human beings. They don't have like superpowers.
Yeah, the Joker takes damage again, like when he was first being interrogated, when Batman's knocking him around. You can tell he's taking damage.
He fucking dies as well in Batman Returns. No.
Oh, the animated film.
Yeah. Is it Batman Returns?
The Dark Knight Returns.
The Dark Knight Returns, sorry. Batman Returns is the Danny DeVito.
Yeah, that's a Danny DeVito.
Oh, we need to get onto that guy, because the Penguin scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Bear with me. He absolutely takes those vulnerabilities. Imagine how boring it would have been if while the Batman's smacking him, it was like a shitty villain. He was like, "That the best you can do, honey?" Like, he's falling on the floor, and yes, he's laughing, but only because he finds it funny, because he doesn't give a shit about the pain, and he's laughing at Batman because Batman doesn't realise he doesn't care. That's what's so funny.
Okay.
He is vulnerable. He is human. Like, to be honest, realistically, me and my dad and family were watching The Dark Knight, and the moment when Batman punched the Joker's hand, my dad was like, "That's every bone in his hand now probably broken." And I didn't think about that until now, because Batman does have this like tactical assault glove, and probably shattered every bone in his hand realistically.
Yeah, doesn't he have like in the beginning of The Dark Knight? Doesn't he have like those? I swear he's got like sort of not knuckle dusters, but he has this thing that comes out of his arm that he then wraps around that he uses to punch in the car park with Cillian Murphy.
Right.
In the beginning of The Dark Knight.
Dude, say Scarecrow.
He has, but Cillian Murphy.
What do you think of him as a villain?
I think he's quite cool.
I liked him. Enjoyable.
I thought he was quite good. It was in every single trailer where, Batman jumps down on the van and crushes it.
Yeah.
And he, like, punches. He's got, something comes out of his arm that, like, knuckle dusters or something like that he then uses.
I know that his knuckles have, like, graphite
they do,
of,
but
like,
something in that scene, something comes out of his wrist that he then grips around to sort of give more oomph to, like, his punches and stuff like that.
How did he survive that fall with Rachel onto a car?
Because he's Batman.
Anyway, you were about to touch on something.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh, the Penguin.
Yeah, the Penguin.
There's a villain from Dark Knight Returns, a 90s movie, if I recall. It was the final Batman movie from that Tim Burton gave us.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito's
I'm not going to talk about the Penguin.
Oh. Max Schreck, played by Christopher Walken, the villain of corporate espionage.
Not necessarily the Penguin that himself, but much like Rasputin, the Penguin was like the sort of a vivid villain for me that actually scared me. What was like the first villain that you ever saw that actually like made you uncomfortable or like scared?
Oh, that's an intermolesting question. At first, part of me wants to say like horror movies shouldn't count because that's the point. Like it wasn't the Penguin's intention, or maybe it was.
Well, I mean, it can be a horror movie. It can be a horror movie, I guess.
Because my mind's immediately thinking, I saw Nightmare on Elm Street at a very young age, and obviously Freddy Krueger's burnt face and fucking, I'm pissed off at myself and forgetting the actor's name. And Robert Englund. Robert Englund's obvious portrayal of this, again, a horrific boogeyman. That did kind of shit me up, and again, maybe it's then again, I think I was just more scared of the idea of dying in my sleep than this fucking Christmas jumper wearing burn victim.
I think that's cool.
I'd say Freddy Krueger. You say yours, because I'm thinking a bit more here.
Well, mine was Rasputin was the first one that actually scared me, and then there was the Penguin, Danny DeVito. I think, though, it's cool, though.
I'll always remember that moment. I think it's towards the end when the Penguin's, like, bleeding black, going down his mouth and shit. That was haunting.
It was the first bit, the beginning of that fucking film, where you didn't even see him. Like, he's just making these noises, though, when he's, like, and they chuck him in the river. I was like, what the fuck is that thing?
I think you touched on it earlier. The first Brendan Fraser movie. I remember really The Mummy. I was very young when I saw the first Mummy. I can't remember when that movie came out, but I was quite little. I remember the Scarab shit me up.
1999, yeah.
The Scarab, and I was born in 1994, so I would have seen however old I was. But fuck my parents. To be honest though, I remember the Scarab shitting me up more than the actual Imhotep did. Like, I remember fucking freaking out, like looms to come off at night, and I'd be scared like scarabs would come down and fucking eat me.
I think that's what's cool about like so like for instance Freddy Krueger. What's cool about him is it's not necessarily what he looks like, because in horror it's like once you show the monster it's like okay, that's what the monster looks like, but it's like his thing is like every human needs to sleep. Like it's just something that humans have to do. Like humans cannot not sleep
for now,
and so it's like you know, something that happens naturally, intertwining something that happens naturally to humans with something that could possibly bad happen to them. Like that's sort of what makes him scary, is the fact that like it's inevitable that you're going to fall asleep at one point.
Inevitable Smith.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and then that's how he like gets you. I think that's what makes Freddy Krueger scary. It's not sort of who he is, but it's what he can do as well, which is kind of cool.
I'm trying to think of maybe the first animated villain I saw that shit me up. And mine's rolling back. I saw obviously a lot of Don Bluth movies when I was young, and that had some seriously fucking scary thing. I remember I saw The Black Cauldron when I was very little, and that had some fucking scary imagery and all that. But then again, the main villain, the Horned King, he was kind of a bitch. So I'm trying to think of an animated main villain that really fucked me. I remember the big fucking rabbit from Watership Down. It was a fucking, with like a whited out eye in a sky. It was a fucking menacing sight.
Watership Down's a fucking horror movie anyway, so...
Yeah, kids should not watch that probably.
Yeah. No,
Return to Oz? How old was I when I saw that? Fucking hell.
Oh, no idea. I mean, there are like... I think, like, because obviously everyone's sort of opinion is different about like what's a scary, like, kind of villain, and like I think having scary villains it is a horror movie thing, but I think what is definitely a part of sort of our kind of culture, and also. Well, not our culture, but like what's become a thing is having cool villains.
Yeah.
You know, having like villains that are cool. And like even if they're like really bad, you're still like, oh yeah, but he's really cool. like do you know what I mean?
Well, again, as someone that's a weeb who's watched endless animes where everyone dotes on the cool, badass villain and all that goes out like an absolute boss at full power in a cool, awesome way, like the chilling dialogue of
Yeah. There's villains, so like, you know, Die Hard, like Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
You know, I think he was the sort of, and there's also James Bond ones, but like Hans Gruber, I think he was the sort of first villain that I saw that was like, you know,
that's a good example.
Kind of classy, like cool villain. He wasn't like the mustache twirling villain. He was like he was like
definitely suave and smug.
Yeah, I know. But
yes,
he wasn't
Mr. Cowboy.
But he wasn't like, you know, the sort of cape wearing, top hat, big mustache.
Okay, not that bad. I wouldn't say he was a subversive sort of villain.
No, I didn't say, but he was like a cool villain.
Yes, absolutely.
He's not like, because I think there's like that trope of like, you know, the villain that smiles and it's like, oh look, they're smiling at horrific stuff, they must be, you know, scary. But like nowadays I feel that's kind of cheesy. I think there are villains that...
I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit obtuse because I enjoy watching a character enjoy themselves. Like when I'm watching a villain reveling in their own mayhem, like I like, hey, we're all having a good time.
Oh yeah, I feel that's a bit cheesy for me. For some villains, not all of them, but for some of them, I feel it's like.
Well, I guess if they take it too far, if they're literally like hands up laughing sort of thing. Unless you're the Joker, you're not allowed to do that. I'm sorry, that's Joker privilege.
Yeah, exactly. But that's, I think...
And even Leto couldn't do that well.
No, he could not. No,
maybe that can't be done anymore. Do you think that's a requisite now from how many years of cinema that whole medium is just dead?
This might be wrong. It probably is wrong, but... The first time I sort of noticed it was after watching The Dark Knight, where it was like, there's the, you know, scary psychopathic character of the Joker, who's also a laughing kind of evil character. And then I think everyone was like, oh, look, this is when people were like, oh, look, the Joker's like creepy and he's laughing and it's creepy. And then loads of people try to do it. And it's like, yeah, but it, like, to me, like, now I think when I see a villain that's like laughing, I'm just like, oh, it's a bit cheesy.
I don't know. I remember the Nicholson Joker laughing his ass off. Like, it was like when he first shot his boss, and he's just endlessly laughing, or like.
Yeah, but that was pre Heath Ledger.
Yeah, pre Heath Ledger. But I'm
it's
saying
fine
that
then.
whole trope has been going on for like quite, and it's still just as effective.
Yeah, but I think like,
So if you rewatch that, would you say that's cheesy? Post.
yeah, I do find I think I'm a little bit campy.
Oh,
I
well, the
do.
Joker's meant to be camp. You know.
Yeah, I know, but it's like you have like Jack Nicholson's Joker, which is like meant to be that. You have Heath Ledger's Joker, which is, you know, Nolan like puts a darker sort of thing on him, where I don't think he is meant to be camp, and he's not. But then I think loads of people are like, oh, we can do the same thing. It's like, yeah, but the thing is, you can't do the same thing, and you've tried, but it doesn't work.
Maybe it's the post like Austin Powers, where films where they took the piss out of the villain laugh. Because obviously
Yeah.
Doctor Who would start
yeah.
laughing, everyone joins them, and then they just keep going, and then they just slowly stop.
Yeah, do you know? I think
Like, they just take the piss out of the idea of a villain laughing, but they don't cut away.
Oh, do you know what? I think that's true, actually. I think that's true. Maybe that is it. Like, having seen that, I do find now, like, laughing villains a bit cheesy.
Like, villains have been satirised as much as they've existed
Yeah.
as well.
But, one of the villains... And I will say, you know, I did talk about, you know, Rasputin. He's, like, a sort of laughing villain. But he's, like, a cartoon. But one of the ones, and you and I both love this guy...
Frollo?
Is Frollo. Yeah.
I
he
don't
is
know.
not a laughing villain. But
Oh
he
no, I
is
don't think he
sinister.
smiles the whole movie.
He smiles like once or twice, but he's not like a laughing villain. He is sinister.
I think it's because of his pieism. Like, he's
Yeah.
very reminiscent of, like, the Christian Puritans that often punish themselves for joy.
He's cold and
Yeah.
you know, and he's not. And even though he is animated, I think it would have been so easy for them to make him like a laughing sort of moustache twirling villain, but he's not. And that's what actually stood out to me, because as a kid, I was watching him and I was like, man, this guy is just like so serious. And as a kid, you don't want stuff to be serious all the
You
time.
almost get, like, Tywin Lannister vibes from him. Like, someone that is just never joking. Everything they say is something that matters and is important. Someone that never wastes a word.
He also sounds like him as well, and looks like him.
Yeah, to be honest, Charles Dance and Christopher Lee and whoever voiced, they must still be part of the club.
Is it Jeremy Irons? No.
No, not Jeremy Irons.
No,
Jeremy
sorry.
Irons voiced Scar.
Scar, yeah.
And Jim Cummings, but only in the song. Fun film fact.
If they did a live action Hunchback, Charles Dance as Frodo, that would
feel
be
like
fucking solid.
It's a famous book. I bet a lot of French cinema, every country has their own cinema. I bet there probably have been many Hunchback.
Potentially. But, like, I would make a fucking R-rated version of that shit. Like, actually close to the book, where they fucking, like, murder Quasi. They lynch him, don't they?
Yeah.
It's fucking dark as shit. Maybe that's just because I'm fucked up, but I'd
Disney
fucking do
gave
that,
the
mate.
Hunchback a fucking happy ending. If Disney ever...
They gave every fucking, like, Disney tale of happy ending.
If Disney ever, like, adapted The Boy in the Blue Striped Pajamas or something like that, it would probably end with all the prisoners getting free and turning their fucking pajamas into flags that they wave happily as they fucking zoom out.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
Yes, I could,
Fucking
because
have-
Disney are fucking
Oh my-
insane.
Oh, fucking hell. I can already imagine the songs being heinous.
Oh, and the bald boy would probably have, like, a little cute talking mouse that was a friend or something. I can't remember his name.
Shmuel.
Fuck, you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Is that because that's, like, a Jewish name, or...?
No, it's just because I read the book at school. We had to analyse the book at school.
I only watched the film at school.
Yeah, we also watched the film at school.
I remember at school being really pissed off because I thought the ending was crap.
But why did you think the ending was crap?
I just thought, wait, that's it, it's over. They just died and everyone's crying in the rain. That's the resolution.
Yeah, because that's the Holocaust, man.
Yeah, but I thought maybe end it with maybe the Allies liberating the camp and they hang his father, or like, give it an actual ending.
It's 2000. You can't hang people in PG fucking film. How the fuck is that film a PG? Like, for real? Like, is it a PG? Yeah, I think it is.
There's no nipples, so it's fine.
Yeah. But it's neat because, like, the camp in the book.
Didn't everyone go into the showers naked? Like...
No, they went to the gas chamber naked.
Oh, well, that's what I meant.
Yeah. But it's like, in the book, the camp is called, or Bruno, you know, who's the little boy, the German, you know, SS officer's boy, kid. It's from his perspective, and he notes the camp it's called Outwith, which just sounds like Auschwitz.
Yeah.
But then you see it, and it's nowhere near as big as Auschwitz, but whatever.
Oh no, that place,
I think
had serious real estate value.
I think it is a good. I think actually the ending for that film is good because it shows that it's like
this was like year 9, year 10. Didn't it? I didn't appreciate maybe the nuance at the time.
I think the ending is good. The fact is, it's like, it's like your son, mate. I think that's way more damaging. The fact that you have to like live the rest of your life, know that your son got exterminated by the very sort of thing that
I would hope he's living with a lot worse than that.
Well, I mean, how can you, like, if you just killed him, like, if you just hanged him at the end, you'd be like, oh, he's dead, he can't feel anything anymore, but having to live out the rest of his life knowing that he fucking...
Does he deserve to live the rest of his life?
No, he deserves... No, because, it's way more damaging for him to live the rest of his life the longest time knowing what...
I feel like we're weirdly subtextually arguing the advocacy of the death penalty here. Is it worse to let the criminal live with what they did or to kill them out of justice?
Yeah. Because psychological pain is way worse than physical pain.
We can both agree that Gotham is in dire need of the death penalty, though.
Yeah, but Batman's a pussy, so...
But going off, let's talk about a little bit of real-life villains here. Obviously, there's been a lot of films based around not just Nazis, but also Soviets, and a lot of historic villains as well.
Yeah. Jack the Ripper.
Any particular opinions? Well, that one's a little bit more speculative. I mean, like historical movies that have tried to accurately portray certain villains of history.
Yeah, I find that there are some films. So, for instance, one of them, I think, the one that pops to mind for me is The Zodiac Killer. I find that drama films that are based on real facts about serial killers actually kind of are a bit boring. Do
you think if they made like a film about Ted Bundy today, like they'd show Ted Bundy and they'd have like a ripped six-pack? You got to get that crowd in somehow. Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's got ripped abs and he's fucking Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy's he's already got like a fucking fan club anyway.
Fucking hell, humans.
Like fucking, Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris. Yeah,
they're dead.
Yeah, I know, but they have like this fucking fan club. Yeah,
isn't that more like a cult then?
Well, it started on Tumblr, as you can.
Of course it did.
Yeah, and they're called Columbiners. They fucking write like this is no shit. They write like fucking erotic fan fiction and draw like fan art of Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold.
What? Why? Fucking?
Yeah. Oh. Why? I don't fucking know. But humans are weird.
I feel that's probably harmful to the LGBT community.
Fucking Ted Bundy got married in fucking prison.
Well, they had a ceremony.
He got married. I don't know if that was a ceremony, but he got married.
Oh, so he signed the papers.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Okay, I'm with you. But
that fucking dude murdered people, and yet he can still fucking get married. What the fuck is that about?
Now, there's your Lynx advert. Can't get women? Be like Ted Bundy, who uses our spray, and all the women will flock to you.
Oh, I'd do it the other way around. It's like, can't women don't use Lynx, peel their skin off.
Maybe that's what the spray does.
Dharma, yeah.
It cuts to a picture of him spraying people with the spray and their skin comes off.
Yeah.
We went down a weird alley here. Yes, a film portrayed villains. You mentioned the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah. It's, again, it's I mean, that film's not it's not really a good film. It's got Ron Livingston in it, who's the dad in the first Conjuring.
Yeah. What's that film that's the famous clip on YouTube of Hitler? The one where he's doing that big rant.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, it's called like Great Failure. It's called fucking... It's
called like... what is it? It's not called Fatherland, it's called...
No, it's called...
Downfall.
Downfall, yes.
Downfall, yeah.
Downfall, that's it. I watched it years ago, but I remember the guy who played Hitler. Good. I hope he's still alive, because he did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like things like that. I feel that that's the one sort of film where Nazis aren't portrayed as like just, cardboard cutout.
Well, there were genuine people who were in the military and military advisors. There were people that weren't like in La La Land.
And it's, one of those things where it's a very unique scene where you actually sort of see Hitler kind of like not just doing his big speeches and stuff like that, where he's like in his bunker. It's the last days of the war. And everything's gone fuck up for the Nazis, and and you just see how unhinged he is. And again, props to that actor for portraying that. I mean, Hitler was nuts
Oh
anyway.
yeah,
but,
historically, didn't he take
yeah.
small doses of cyanide because he wanted to get immune to it or something?
I don't know.
I recall that in my studies.
He used to have himself injected with testosterone.
Testosterone? To make up for his lack of ball?
To make himself, like, you know, more kind of aggressive and stuff like that.
Aggressive?
Yeah, so there was like this
Was
thing.
he boxing?
So, well, no one, but it was sort of like during, Chamberlain, when they were trying to sort of, before
What,
World
Neville
War
Chamberlain?
II, yeah. When he went to meet the Nazis, and they were trying to, and this was all the incident around, the Czech Republic about Hitler saying, "I'm going to invade them."
Like, hey,
I'm going to fuck them up.
cut that out.
Do what I want. But then it was really weird because he would flip flop. He would be like one day, he would be like, "You're going to do what I'm saying, or I'm going to go into Czech Republic. I'm going to fuck these people up." But then the next day he'd be like, "Okay, look, I was a veteran of World War One. I don't want war. I don't want death." But then the next day he'd be like, "No, I'm going to fucking do," and he was just so like unhinged. But everyone blames Chamberlain. It's like, no, Chamberlain did the best he could with a fucking nut job who was. He was also amped up on like amphetamines, cocaine, all this also. Like,
well, everyone was. It was the trend of the time.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's a lot of discourse about why the Allies didn't liberate Poland after that was fully. Not just Poland and France after they were fully taken over, and that's because they were just seen as lost causes.
And they also didn't want to fight the Russians because the von Ribbentrop Pact, the Russians and Germans invaded Poland. And they did not want to go up against the Russians because they were like, it's easier. Because, like, Stalin, was a communist. And this was the thinking at the time. They were like, hey, look, communism is really bad. So it's easier to appease a fascist than it is a communist.
Yeah.
Which is like, why they did. But, I mean.
Well, that famous sniper that had like 100 kill counts. And he said, how's it feel killing all those people? And he said.
Was it.
I wouldn't know. Yeah, I've only ever killed communists.
Was that Simo Häyhä? But Simo Häyhä, the most successful sniper, and he was Finnish. And if you look at the body count on like Finnish casualties versus Russian casualties, oh my god, the Finns just cleared house.
No one ever thinks about Finland's army, and maybe that's the point.
Yeah, because you can't see it.
They're all John Cena.
Yeah. I mean, Nazis have been used. I mean, so like, Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, Nazis have been used.
I can't remember the name of the villains from Indiana Jones.
No, I can't, but they used the Nazis in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Twice.
Which is...
They used them in the Holy Grail as well, didn't they? Wasn't the people there Nazis?
Yes.
The guys that melted in that bitch.
Yeah. And,
not to be offensive there.
And what's interesting, though, is that there was actually a sector of, like, the Nazis, like, sort of...
Oh, yeah, they investigated the paranormal and that.
Yeah.
Like, Hitler wasn't really into the occult.
Yeah, and about sort of lost artifacts and stuff like that. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, they are.
Do you think he'd born in today, he'd be really into the Antiques Roadshow? If he turned out, if he'd just been a successful painter, he'd just be like watching his art and watching the Antiques Roadshow, like, yeah, that's a really good piece. They get 20 grand for that.
Sort of like calls in his SSO, finds out where they found that.
Support your local painters or else.
Support your local artists or else. Also, we're both artists and, I mean, we're not political yet, but we haven't got a few roles in a while.
But that's enough of Hitley Whitley.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's been that many films enough about, like, good old Stalin.
Oh, Stalin, no, there.
Why do you think that is?
Because history's written by the people who win.
And supposedly, Russia's been allies.
Yeah, but I
don't know how Great Britain's felt about them. Obviously, America had the Cold War and all that. I think we were just like, no, thank you. We're tippity-boo over here.
I mean,
let us know.
Our thing is, though, that, like, being British, we are kind of the villains for...
history.
A lot. Yeah, it's like, I mean...
Well, you just said history's written by the winners.
Yeah, exactly. But,
cough.
But, being British, that I think every cloud has a silver lining, we are responsible for the most Independence Days.
How come no one's pissed off at the Romans, but everyone's pissed off at us? We both did all the same shit.
Yeah.
We're just more recent. We're just the new former deposed empire.
I think it might be difficult, the fact that we've still got, like, a whole building dedicated to all the shit that we stole, and we've called it the British Museum.
Well, that's just us respecting the cultural of all of the things that we borrowed. Anyway, so as I was saying,
and not that any countries asked for any of their shit back, anything like that.
I think India wanted their diamond back.
And it's like, oh, it's like...
No, it was a gift to the Queen. Please don't subjugate us. Here's a shiny rock. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. It's like, I'm not going to go back to, my ex-girlfriend from 10 years ago and ask my clothes back. She can have it.
I actually won't lie. I have some Iron Maiden shirts and an ex has that I really wish I still had. But anyway.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Who is your least favourite villain? And least favourite as in a villain that you just think is, like, just crap. Like, one that you just, what, like, why? Like,
do they have to be a prominent villain, or is it like a second villain?
No, just your personal one. You're just like, you know what, I think this villain is just really bad. Like, who signed off on this? Like,
Darkheart from Ghost Rider.
Alright, explain.
I think, wait, was it Darkheart? Bloodheart? Fucking... Darkheart? Or... I think... It was some...
The fact that you can't remember the name is a bit testament to...
It was some really shitty, generic thing like that.
Oh, Blackheart.
Blackheart. Oh, that's some Care Bear shit right there. Beelzebub, Nephilim, Blackheart. Because he has a black heart. Do you get it? Here, let me write it out in bold for you. Like, fucking hell. But he was I've never fallen, and I never will. Father, look at my blue face. I come out of the mist and I make a big scary face even though no one else is around. Because I'm evil. Look at me in this church. I'm so fucking evil. Jesus Christ, it was like Hot Topic met up with Scar from The Lion King, had sex, bad sex, made a baby from that, and that baby became an emo.
I mean, to be fair, when did that film come out?
Early 2000s?
Yeah, that's like the height of emo and Hot Topic culture.
And that does not justify that was a film with Nicolas Cage, and to be honest, the effects from that somewhat still hold up.
Yeah, that is a film with Nicolas Cage. Come on.
Such a shitty villain. And he's like, your ghost stare doesn't work on me, Ghost Rider, because I don't have a soul. Excuse me, let me use this scroll that'll give me 1,000 souls. Oh, wait. Which, incidentally, is the exact same ending as Blade, because the Deacon Frost did the exact same thing. Like, he absorbed all those things, and then Blade was able to kill him. Anyway, another shit villain, Deacon Frost. Yeah, all the old vampires are shit. I love club music and fucking looking pale as well. Like...
Oh, the other vampires are shit. I love club music and looking pale as well. That's Twilight, mate. Although, to be fair, I don't know if he likes club music.
Oh yeah, that was the whole point. Like the opening club that Blade was in, that was his club.
No, Edward Cullen.
Oh no, they were too busy playing.
I don't think he likes anything.
They were too busy playing baseball and advocating abortion.
Are they playing baseball?
There was a lot of vampire baseball.
I've only watched the first film. I don't know.
That was in it.
Was it?
Yeah, there was a lot of vampire baseball.
Oh,
there was a lot of vampire baseball. I don't know why I'm adamant on that. Oh my fucking god, let's quickly wank our way around to enjoyable villains, because the final villain, I can't remember his name, Aro or something, was the most cartoonishly evil vampire ever. Like in, what was it, Breaking Dawn Part 2, when they're about to have that big standoff, and this giddy little motherfucking Vladimir Putin dressed as Sauron at a Comic-Con looking motherfucker. He's just looking at all the people like, yeah, and he does the laugh. He does.
Oh,
it's just the most. It literally looks like Wes Craven thought of a. It's like Wes Craven tried to do Sweeney Todd, but had a wank halfway through his writing, so he got a bit bored, and that's what we got.
You get bored before you have a wank.
Well, you can't get it up if you're bored.
Yeah, you can. You haven't been as bored.
I don't want to know your tried and tested pathology on that analysis.
I'm a scientist.
You're a knob scientist.
I mean, we've all been to uni. You know, like you got to fight off the boredom.
We've all had sad wanks, but that's not what I'm talking about here.
Oh no, every wank of mine is sad.
Well, yeah, if you're not crying, where you get the lube? Anyway.
Exactly.
But you were mentioning really shit villains.
You can use spit, but spit, you know, is actually not as good, because spit potentially could be sugary, and sugary does not lube stuff up. That actually makes stuff, you know, like toothpaste. You got to use tears, mate.
Yeah.
You got to use tears.
Wait, tears are salty though.
Yeah, I know, but better than sticky. Salt is not sticky. Sugar is sticky.
Debate that in the comments.
What's better, tears or spit? Or actual lube? I don't know.
We're past the 50-minute mark. No one's listening at this point, so.
Oh well, good.
But yes, in terms of shit villains, I'm gonna go with Blackheart from fucking Ghost Rider. Jesus fucking Christ, you are the crusty wank sock of villainy.
Final.
Put that on a shirt.
You are the crusty wank sock of villainy.
That should be like one of those famous Shakespearean insults. You remember we went through that big list of like, thou art the crusty wank sock of villainy.
I set my 10 commandments in your face. Cream-faced loon.
Thy balls are often not very wrinkly. Whatever
Which one's that from?
Oh, I think it's Othello, right? Act 4, Scene 4. Anyway, you're not going to look it up. Shut up. Anyway, go. Your worst villain.
My worst, the one that I just think is like just a shit like villain, is fucking. I might get a lot of shit for this, but again, like you said, like no one's listening. No.
Well, maybe George and Molly are. Hi guys.
Hi guys, how you doing? And it's just the one that springs to mind for me. It's
shoot out.
It's kind of Cable from Deadpool 2, because he's like the stereotype of like the villain.
Wasn't he an anti-hero?
But that's the thing. It's like, oh, he's the villain, but not really. Oh, look, he lost a daughter, so he's emotionally scarred. Oh, he only has one way to go back to his family.
Weren't people laughing at that motivation in Spider-Man 3 with Sandman?
But not really. And it's just, yeah, I know, but in Sandman, I hadn't seen it before, so I was like, okay, that's
My daughter's sick, so I get to break the law.
And it wasn't because I hate him, it's just because I thought he was, like, boring.
Yeah, it was. The most interesting part about him was his shirt.
And that's the thing. I was, like, if there's a villain that's bad, that at least I can sort of hate, that's fine. But if they're boring, I can't do boring.
To be fair, he's kind of meant to be boring because he's the straight man to Deadpool.
Well, then that's just because you're meant to be boring doesn't make it right.
I'd say, though, I wouldn't blame maybe Josh Brolin or...
No, I don't blame Josh Brolin. I just blame that...
If they made him interesting, the comic fans would have been like, nah, that's not accurate. He's meant to be Deadpool's playoff. Meh. Yeah. I mean, I would have complained either way because he's not as tall as fucking Cable.
Yeah, I mean
comic
that's
fans.
The thing. I mean, that's the fucking problem with the internet, isn't it?
Oh, but that's
not like comic book That's what those people sound like. And yeah, I'm not going to say sorry.
But that might be an interesting thing to top off, though, because given the comic book movies have dominated the box office for probably the last decade, comic book villains from when they started to where they are now.
Oh yeah.
Let's start with one of our earliest ones. I'm going to go with, not obviously the fucking earliest one, like fucking Christopher Reeve's Superman against Zod, who was absolutely fucking gosh. But I'm thinking more maybe...
I just want to say Zod is not a cool name.
No.
That name has not aged well.
Well, luckily he has General right before it, right? And that kind of helps.
Oh, look, he's General Zod.
That helps.
I guess it does. But like...
it's putting a top hat on a shit.
Yeah, I know, but like, come on, man. It's like at least, like maybe get a stage name or a general name or something like that to make
He does have a general name.
Yeah, I know, but it's like Zod. It's like, come on, man, you're a general. Fucking, you could probably change your name to something better, like Zodonian or Zodaria or some shit.
Zodaria. That's, you don't want to have a name that rhymes with gonorrhea.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. He's like a disease. Right? He's a disease. Can't get rid of him.
The Zod
Unless
from
you're in Man of Steel, in which case he kills it.
I was about to say, the Zod from the Henry Cavill Man of Steel, he was a little bit more... I'd say he was cartoony as a villain. I don't think he was a very good villain. I will find him!
Yeah, I don't really like... I think that's like one of those things where it's like... the writing... It's not always the actor's fault. Like, the writing does take a big part in it. There are some times where you just can't...
Holy shit! We've missed out Colin Farrell from Daredevil. Who was Bullseye. He's Bullseye. I'm super evil and I'm super Irish.
I'm super evil, I'm super Irish.
That was pretty much Bullseye from the Daredevil movie. Come on.
Yes, member of the IRA.
Like, come on. You remember him on the airplane when he flicked a peanut into the old woman's mouth and choked her. I was watching her as she died. Oh shit! Cartoony comic villains.
There's so many. Yeah.
Again, like what was his name? Fucking the black guy that played. I think he was the same black guy from the Green Mile. Fucking big guy. He played Kingpin. He was awesome. But again,
Green Mile.
I think that was the same.
What
actor.
did he play Kingpin in?
Daredevil movie.
Oh shit! I can't remember.
Oh, okay, never mind. He's awesome.
No, I was just thinking of Vince D'Onofrio. In
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, he plays Kingpin in, the...
the TV series.
TV show. Sorry, you said Daredevil, I was like the TV...
Rob, if you're going to mention him from that TV show,
also,
you have to make sure you know what he's saying. that's my impression of him. He just punctuates every word so much.
Sorry, that's my Frank Castle impression. John Berthnell, mate, solid dude in the Pacific. Also, John D'Onofrio, fucking Vincent D'Onofrio, Full Metal Jacket, Private Pile, who turns out he's like innocent guy, turns out to be a real fucking bad dude.
Quick aside, you've seen the second season of Daredevil, right? Did you enjoy Jigsaw?
I enjoyed the performance for sure.
Because that's certainly a well-developed villain, like from the first season to...
Is that Daredevil or Punisher?
Holy shit, I meant to say Punisher.
Yeah, no, it's Punisher.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I just went on. I was like, oh yeah, I remember. No, yeah.
I went in the wrong hole there. I meant to go into the spin-off to Punisher series. But Jigsaw from the second season of the Punisher.
I think the one thing... I did, because it was like, Russo! Yeah, okay, fine. I thought he was cool. The one thing that sort of, not this is a very pedantic thing, but I just want to bring it up, is the fact there's artwork of his face that was made before it came out that looks really gruesome, but then in the TV show it's just like a couple of lines.
You gotta have that star signification.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's like, oh.
Hence why you can see Ryan Reynolds when he's being Deadpool.
Yeah,
right?
and I did like him because he's like the sort of guy, like he's Frank's ex, he's like former comrade. They're both like, they're like recon Marines, like hardcore dudes. They did all this stuff.
And those guys genuinely form a bond when they're out there, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. And no, I did because it's, again, and the ending for that was...
Season 1 or 2?
2, when he kills him, where Frank kills him. And it's
Spoiler!
Fuck. As you said, no one's listening. But
you're the villain of this podcast.
I never claimed to be anything else.
God, what does that make me? Shit.
But the thing is, like, the way that Frank kills him is so unceremonious. He just,
plugs him.
Yeah, exactly. And then he walks out, and you think there's going to be like a big long.
Almost the way Hank was killed in Breaking Bad, he's just fucking shot.
Yeah, I thought, I was like, oh no, there's going to be an emotional Frank, but then he just goes baff, 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 like, I was like, you know what, that is so just brutal.
Though, to be fair, at the end of the first one, when he pushed his face against the glass that cut him up, like, that was fucking... Ooh.
Yeah, that's savage, yeah. And he just killed, and it shows the brutality. And that was the thing. It was like...
would you put him more then in line with the more sympathetic villains, or do you think he fucking earned every piece of shit he got?
I mean, if I was in Frank's shoes, and it's like, my, wife and kids got murdered because of this guy, I'd be like, bro, we're not friends anymore.
I got so sick
I'm gonna fucking kill you, bro.
I want to quickly say, I got so sick of the blame being shifted on that. Actually, it turns out it was his fault, but wait, only because he gave the order, but who was actually being controlled by the blacksmith, who was actually like, fucking, can one person be responsible?
Hey, look, just fucking, take responsibility for your own actions.
Was that the name of the guy who apparently did it? The blacksmith or some shit like that?
Oh, what, Agent Orange? That fucking dude. In the first one. His death scene, though. He was a good villain. He was a good villain because he was like that sort of CIA agent that was like, we're doing it for the betterment of the country. And he was like sociopathic, but he like enjoyed like torturing people and stuff like that, but he was like, but I'm righteous in what I'm doing, so I'm justified to it.
The Pilgrim. The Pilgrim was pretty cool.
Yeah. The Pilgrim. The thing is, he was so cool, but I feel they could have done more with him.
Maybe.
I didn't.
Because that would have overshadowed Jigsaw.
Yeah, I know, but the Pilgrim was like, he was shrouded in mystery, and I love mystery.
Yeah.
I love mysterious villains.
His tattoos and all
Yeah,
that.
I was like, oh, that's so cool. But I feel they could have done more with him. But he was a villain. I really liked him as a villain because that's what kept me watching. Season 2 was not good as season 1 of The Punisher, but the Pilgrim was like one of the things. It was Jigsaw and the Pilgrim that kept me watching. And in a way, like I knew Jigsaw was going to be doing his thing. But
was it season 1 or 2 with the young soldier with the PTSD?
That was season 1.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch.
And then but it was the Pilgrim because I was like, oh, I want to know what this guy's doing, and that's a thing that I'm trying to think about. It's like villains that are shrouded in mystery. I think those guys are really cool.
You know just enough. Like, you know nothing about them, but you see what they're doing. So all you can wonder is why.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like mystery. I like having sort of like a twist. Much like with Billy Russo. It's like he's sort of like this good guy throughout the first season, but then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like he's actually really not. He's actually really not. And there's the whole thing as well. Like he has like sort of bits that are you're like, oh, there's like he's definitely not telling us everything, and there's definitely some shit that he's done. But I wonder what that shit is. And it's like human magic. It's like with horror movies, with monsters. It's like your imagination runs away with you. Oh, what has Billy done?
Oh, what you don't see and what you don't hear.
Like you start thinking about yourself. And then even then, I was not dissatisfied when it was revealed to me, which I think is quite a difficult thing to do.
I'd agree there.
Yeah, I think there are some villains where you're like, I know this is gonna be it, and then it is that, and it's like Insidious. We talked about like Insidious, like the demon Insidious. Like once you see it, you're just like, oh,
money shot.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, after that, it's just one big come down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, okay.
I've got a couple more questions, but shit, we've hit over an hour.
No, it's okay, we can ramble now.
Okay, let's have a quick thing. Like, what do you think let's give your number one, who you think, firstly, is your most wasted villain. Like, you saw a villain, you thought, they've wasted that. That could have been so much more amazing. Like, maybe the villain's end was crap, or maybe they didn't make him, give him enough to work with or something, or...
Oh, most wasted villain, yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think was the most wasted villain that you think had really good potential?
Can I only name one? Because I've got 3.
I'll give us a couple, yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a couple.
Do an hour and a half.
Yeah. I think my first one... we talked about The Dark Knight kind of enough, but I think my first... It was Bane. Tom Hardy's Bane.
Really? Because he was like all over the film. How do you think he was wasted?
Well, no, it's not that he was wasted, but the fact is, like, the bits he was in, just because he was all over the film, the bits, like, they didn't grip me as much as I wanted them.
But in a way, the way they presented him is very similar to what you were just talking about with the Pilgrim. You didn't know why he was doing what he did, but you saw him just act and all that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, but they weren't fun to watch, though. They were kind of monotonous.
Even like the fight in like the underground water sewer?
That was fine, but the rest of them, I just like, oh look, it's Bane being big and crushing people. I was like, okay.
I kind of like the plane heist at the beginning.
Yeah, no, that's like cool. But then the other one's like I don't know.
The stock exchange. I
don't get like the same sense of like menace or fear. And I know he's going to die at the end because there's no way that he's not going to. I don't know. I just felt like he was a bit of he was underwhelming for me.
Do you think they could have changed a few things? Do you think they
Yeah. I think they could have made him more like they could have made him sort of more kind of violent than he was, because he just.
So we should have seen him actually like cave a guy's head in rather than just shoot an underling that pissed him off.
Yeah, I felt like so the whole point of Bane is that he's got the venom.
Oh, so we should have actually seen the venom, but Christopher Nolan does tend to go for more
realistic stuff. But I think Bane should have been more. I think he didn't feel as dangerous as he could have been.
I get what you mean.
Yeah,
I think making him also a student of the League of Shadows really sort of held him back. Like, imagine if he had nothing to do with Ra's al Ghul and he was just this unknown warrior that was just ultimately powerful.
That would have like given more mystery. But also, he's just like it's like we saw his strength, like he broke Batman's back and stuff like that. You're like, okay, that's Like,
Fun
was
fact,
that
Tom
shows-
Hardy actually lifted Christian Bale in that scene. There were no strings or anything. Like, he picked him up.
Yeah, I can imagine that. And like, but I just felt like Bane, and also the way he died, he just got blasted by like the Batman guns.
Absolutely.
And
A shitty death.
I was like, I thought Bane and Batman were gonna have like another. I mean, they sort of did, but it's like another sort of rematch. Or like something where Batman actually manages to beat Bane in some way, but it's not. It's just like bang bang. Oh, okay, he's gone.
Even in that fight, like obviously
that's
there's the moment when Batman like takes his mask and like Batman had the triangle blades
he
in their
pulls
first
out.
fight. Like, how did he not wound his fucking face mask in their first fight?
Yeah, and I think that's the one bit I think that sort of seals it off for me is the fact that the way Bane died just sucked.
You'll just have to imagine the fire. Boom, he's gone. Not even a body.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
gone.
Okay.
How did that not piss off Tom Hardy? He went out like a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. He died. He didn't die.
Imagine if at during the final sequence with the Joker when he's like what is it? He's got Batman pinned down and he's about to say it's a funny world we live in, like and as Batman's like gearing up to shoot this guy, like Commissioner Gordon comes out of nowhere and just shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
There's no massive fall where he's laughing or anything. Like he's got Batman pinned and then Commissioner Gordon just shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
How shit would that have been? All of that, and he just shoots him.
Yeah, it's just like,
That's how that looked like when Bane was just blasted into the wall.
yeah. The next one for me, and this is a villain that I love, actually,
Right.
but I hate how he died, is Calvin Candy from
Oh,
Joker.
do you have any other things? 'Cause I was going to ask worst villain deaths after Wasted Potential.
I'll say that for later.
Okay.
I guess, but the next one would be is he a villain? Yeah, he is a villain.
We can accept different interpretations. Like
Yeah.
many heroes of a story, the villain.
But he's not.
But present your
no.
case.
Yeah. This is gonna be controversial, maybe. I don't know.
Good. Get those.
Actually, no. I withdraw. I was gonna say something.
What, Woody from Toy Story?
God.
He's the villain. Worse than Sid.
Well, but Sid's got like a redemption arc, doesn't he?
Sid was just a kid playing with toys. He didn't know they were alive.
Yeah.
It's like, how many people smash a bottle on the ground? Oh, that bottle could have been alive. Like, fuck off. He was just a kid playing.
Yeah, I've actually forgotten the other fucking two I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
I'll remember them later, but whatever. What about yours? What about your...
Okay, one of my wasted villains, and you're gonna find this really. Oh, I'm gonna touch so many nerves here. Grima Wormtongue. The reason I think he was wasted is I think the way when he was deposed was really great. Obviously, they beat Saruman and all that sort of thing, and then he was just sort of told to just piss off. Like they gave him a horse and he just ran out of Rohan. I thought that was really anticlimactic for a villain. And again, he's like a sub boss, like a mini boss. He works for
He
Saruman.
gets killed in Return of the King, though.
I'm getting to that. And he was just sort of allowed to just piss off, and I thought, like, I was really hoping, like, after all, like this, like you said earlier, there are villains that have power and villains that want power. He's obviously a villain that wants power, because he was like, literally poison in the ear sort of thing. Like, he was literally just a schemer, like Loki and all that sort of thing. And he had just, like, nothing after the king was returned back to normal, and I was just like, oh, and he's gone. Because that was a huge thing. Like, Grima Wormtongue was basically running the hold. He'd, like, sent out, 10,000? He'd, like, banished 10,000 soldiers of Rohan. I don't know how there wasn't a coup there. Like, 10,000 soldiers, like, being like...
Yeah, like, what if they just said no?
What? Oh, but our honour, but... Okay, we're all going to leave our wives and children now. We're banished.
Yeah, and
Bye.
And all the places that we live from this guy that doesn't even fucking... whatever.
Don't know how the soldiers went along with that, but whatever. It's your story. and all of that, like, he was a big antagonist in the Two Towers for, like, a good, like, maybe 20 minutes of screen time. And then I just felt like, after he was deposed, like, there should have been a bit, like, maybe, surprise, Saruman gave him, like, I don't know, obviously can't give him a wizard's staff, maybe a wand or maybe a sacred stone, like the Palangini or something, and, like, he could have had a big moment. and then he like teleported out like Maleficent at the beginning of like Sleeping Beauty. But I just felt like the way he left Rowan was just like, that was shit.
Yeah.
I remember that always bothering me, and his death in even in Return of the King, it's like, okay, like Rohan was like, the King of Rohan was like, Grima, fucking shank that bitch. I was like, he won't shank me, he's a bitch. And the bitch got shanked. Yeah. And then Legolas, for whatever reason, hit him with an arrow. Why was Legolas pissed that he stabbed Saruman?
I don't know. Probably wanted Saruman alive because he's like powerful wizard and shit in league with Sauron.
You were in... Oh, how many times did Gandalf say, you were in deep council with Thingy? Grima Wormtongue, I think that was so wasted.
Fucking going back into Middle-earth like Smaug in the Hobbit films, fucking wasted. Because he dies in like the second one within like 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong.
It's like this big dragon, and you're like, oh, this is a big dragon, played by Commodix Benderbatch.
Let's be brutally honest here. That all happened so you'd see the third film. Yeah. They ended it on him attacking and started it with the attack so you'd see the third film.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Exactly. And then he died like really fucking quickly. And it's like you have like a big dragon, and you know, to be fair, it's like beautifully animated and like looks cool and sounds cool.
I've seen worse effects.
But then like you kill him like really quickly, and it's just like, oh, it's like, you know, D&D when you just one shot the big bad guy. You're like, oh well, that was that then.
Rolled a natural 20.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, like I think Smaug is always going off burning shit. Oh no, it's no problem, lads. No, it's cool.
Yeah, even as someone that's read the book, the fight for Lake Town was more than probably took longer to read than that was to watch.
Yeah. And my final one, I thought about it. I was thinking sort of Tarantino.
Oh, a Tarantino villain. That's interesting.
But going back to Django is Big Daddy. He was Big Daddy when they first go to the Big Daddy plantation where they go to kill
Candyland.
The Brittle brothers. You know.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, Big Daddy. He was a funny character. He was entertaining. You know, there's the thing with the raid and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I really like this character. He's, you know, I was like, oh, he's really awful, but he's like, I don't know, he's entertaining to watch or whatever. And then he just got shot, and I was like, oh, I would have liked him to be maybe a bit more
fleshed out.
Yeah, I would like him to have a bit. I mean, maybe he did have more scenes that were cut, but like, I feel that he was a strong character because he was like the kind of epitome of like, you know, a slave owner. We've talked about this. Is that like Django, even though it's a Tarantino film, like it doesn't shy away from how horrific the slave trade was. And he was like, and like the way that he acts, it's like he acts as if it's just like normal. I'm like, oh, that's actually
to a lot of people. It was, yeah,
exactly, and like that's what it was. So he was like real, and he's like entertaining to watch. But I think he was. But then he went in and said that he got shot. It's like, okay, yeah, for the pacing of the film, for sure. But I don't know. I felt like after he got shot, I was like, oh, is that it? Oh, I was kind of sad that slave owner died. That sounds really weird.
I think that's more a result of modern Western movies. Like in a lot of old spaghetti westerns, you would have a villain that would be really fleshed out and all that. But I think in a way to subvert that, because of how the Old West really was, like, no one really gives a shit about who you are, where you came from. Just pull out a pistol and you're gone. Like, I think that a lot of modern westerns do that. Not just Django, but again, like The Hateful Eight, or
I mean, Clint Eastwood films,
like the remake of True Grit. Like modern western movies subvert the old western movies, and they just like pull out a gun and you're gone. That's life. That was how the West was. Dipshits have guns.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was the whole thing, wasn't it? And it's. Yeah, I thought, I don't know, maybe it's just my fate. I would have liked to see his character more a bit, but anyway.
I feel like a lot of our problems stimulate from the fact that how a lot of modern cinema just wants to be really fucking interesting, almost to the detriment of their own fucking movies. Like, so many fucking production companies and all that finance don't really give a shit if the film's good, as long as they can get as many seats as they can in the opening weekend.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's not necessarily. I mean, it's like the Emoji Movie, mate. Like, you know,
but that rightfully bombed.
Yeah, I know, but that's not even like. interesting, is it? But I think there are definitely the group where, I mean, we know as creators, you know, where people try to make stuff like too interesting, and they're like, I want to make this all by my magnum opus of interesting, intricate, you know, storytelling. But it's like, if you try too hard and it falls flat, then, you know, you're kind of in trouble.
Well, yeah, obviously, you still need to appeal to a audience. I could make the most intelligent joke in the world, but if nobody gets it, is it even a joke?
That's an interesting thing. Pulp Fiction. That phrase, Pulp Fiction, was coined as a phrase to describe very lowbrow kind of entertainment. Whereas Pulp Fiction, the film, as we know, is not like that at all. It jumps all over the place, and it's like very...
Well, I'd say a lot of the characters are very down to earth.
No, but like Pulp Fiction is like good guy kills bad guy saves woman. That's what Pulp Fiction, that's what the phrase is.
Well, yeah, the movie
It's, like,
starts
really
with a description of pulp, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, no, but the phrase Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
But the actual film of Pulp Fiction, the fact that it jumps about in
I
timelines
know what you mean.
is the opposite of what Pulp Fiction is.
Yeah.
So that's like a little sort of ironic kind of title that...
Would you say
Pretty gay.
Marcellus Wallace is the villain of that film? Obviously, he's a gangster that obviously has people murdered and all that. Let's get that out of the way, yes. But let's think of some context here. I'd say, for example, Zed did a lot worse shit than he did.
It depends, well, I mean, from what we saw.
Yeah, that's
It depends, though. Like, maybe Marcellus Wallace, like, killed someone that had, like, a family, wife and kids. Or something like that.
I'm saying of the movie.
Oh, yeah, in the movie.
Anything outside of that shouldn't count. Of the movie, is he the villain?
But that's like sort of Tarantino thing.
Jules and Vincent do talk about some guy that apparently he threw off a balcony and all that at the start of the movie. Obviously, they send Jules and Vincent to murder those people, but they did steal shit from a gangster. Don't steal from a fucking mob boss. Did you feel an ounce of sympathy for those dumbasses that were just chilling, eating some fast food with stolen shit from a mob boss? Like, you fucking idiots. They were just chilling in an apartment and they had a stolen briefcase that had a gang boss's soul in it.
Yeah, I suppose so, but then I don't really know. I think that's sort of the thing about Pulp Fiction, though, is that every character's sort of a bit innocuous as to who's the bad guy.
Yeah, true. Bruce Willis's character actually killed the guy that was in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
They mentioned that, like, he killed his opponent.
And it's like Hateful Eight as well. It's like, there's no good person in that. Like, everyone's, like, just despicable in their own way.
Reservoir Dogs. I guess everyone's a villain.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good way to end off. Everyone's a villain.
Yeah, everyone's just... Oh, much like real life, everyone's just a piece of shit. For the most part.
Yeah, I guess that's the best thing you can really aspire to. It's like, no, I'm not evil. I'm just not an asshole. If you can not be an asshole, I guess you're doing okay.
Yeah, I guess you're doing okay.
You know, I guess that's...
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. From Dylan Ortoff, 2021. If you're not being an asshole, you're doing okay.
You know, you're behind a slow walker. Now, obviously, you want to kick the legs out from under them and stomp on their head, but you don't. You hold your breath and you wait for them to keep walking until you can find a gap to overtake them.
Exactly. You want to stick, a pipe in the spokes of their wheelchair. But...
Not much of a slow walker if they're in a wheelchair.
Well, slow roller then. But sometimes you just got to overtake. You're on accident, sort of like, step your foot on the brakes of their thing, watch them fall out.
I feel like we should end on some profound quote of villainy or something like that.
Yes, we should. And
okay, quick thing. Best villain of all time.
Oh, best villain of all time? Me. It's me. It's me. No, it's probably... No, it's me.
Okay, fair enough.
It's definitely me. And the profound quote that we're going to put out at the end of this is that from Wreck-It Ralph. Just because you're a bad guy does not mean you're a bad guy.
Wait, is it? I am bad and that is good. I will never be good and that's not bad.
No, it's from...
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. I'm sure that's what they said in like their group thing, when he was hurling towards.
Yeah, I know. But the other quote is just because you're a bad guy does not mean you're a bad guy.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
No, just because you are bad guy does not mean you're a bad guy.
No, just because you're the bad guy does not make you a bad guy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's profound. From Pixar. Is that Pixar? It is Pixar.
Wreck-It Ralph. Yes.
Yeah.
What I love about that film is that moment when he smashes Vanellope's car. Like, that's the thing. He had to be the bad guy there to do what he thought was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, he had to be a villain to be good. And that was the great subversion of things. Like, bad actions can be for virtuous reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he broke that car and broke her heart, but he was doing it to save her life.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. That's true. I mean, look at, going back to the Nazi thing, it's like killing Nazis and shit. It's like, killing's bad, but it's like, you do it for the right reasons and shit.
Who gives a fuck? They're Nazis.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, you could kill 1 million Nazis and your scale on the morality will not even twinge.
Yeah.
Nazis are like Skittles. You could just eat 1,000 and it's fine.
Imagine eating 1,000 Nazis.
Jeffrey Dahmer, I'm looking at you. Why couldn't you have been that? Imagine that, a serial killer cannibal that only ate Nazis. Make that a movie!
That's a Tarantino movie.
There's someone that the audience is like, okay, he's a fucking cannibal, but he's only eating Nazis. Can you root for him?
Yeah. I mean, they do that anyway, don't they?
It's like those serial killers, but the ones that only kill pedophiles. It's like, he's a serial killer, but he's killing pedophiles, so we're kind of on your side.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Someone, if you're still listening, bless you if you are, let me know down in the comments, a serial killer that only eats Nazis. A cannibal that only eats Nazis.
I think the phrase, not bless you if you are, it's God be with you if you are.
But also, let us know down in the comments your favourite villains, movies you felt a villain was not properly represented, or even your worst villain deaths. Villains that you thought went out like a bitch that deserved a better ending.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And also, the villains that we haven't mentioned that we definitely will remember.
Yeah, as soon as we stop recording.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that would have been amazing.
Yeah. But until next time, you've been listening to
Laughing on a Prayer.